It's midday. Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. We're live from Joy 99.7 FM in Accra, Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi, and affiliates across Ghana, including Victory FM, Volta, A1 Radio, Upper East, and Radio Wa in the Upper West region. Download the Manjo Online app from the Play Store for Android or the App Store for iOS users to listen live on the internet wherever you are. Coming up, heavy security presence at some beaches here in Accra as the Ghana Police Service moves to enforce COVID-19 restrictions as part of efforts to contain the spread of the virus.
Nobody is allowed to enter the beach.
We want to ensure that the place is safe. Nobody is allowed in.
As traffic gridlock at Pond Barrier in the Greater Accra region bites hard, the Municipal Assembly has begun expansion works on the road to allow free flow of traffic.
We graveled the side. I'm there right now. The traffic is flowing better than yesterday because I've engaged a lot of people on the road.
That's part of our Around the Country segment coming up on the Midday News.
And in sports, referees are expected to officiate matches better in the second round of the Ghana Premier League, which starts today. We will hear from the referees manager of the Ghana Football Association later.
And also coming up,
He will lay down his life. Today will rise.
Later in the bulletin, we'll bring you a song released by one of our reporters, Kwesi Deborah, under the showbiz identity El Tov to mark the Easter celebration. On this Good Friday, may we never forget the true meaning of Easter. For when he was on the cross, I was on his mind. Thanks for making time to be with us. We're your home of independent, fearless, and credible journalism. This afternoon, we start from here in Accra, and the police has deployed armed men to the country's beaches as part of measures to contain the spread of COVID-19. Beaches have been closed down by government but remain a challenge as some citizens flout the directive. Listen to Director of Operations at the Ghana Police Service, ACP Kwesi Fori, explain why the beaches remain a challenge.
In Accra, one area that is of concern to the Accra Regional Command are the beaches. You know, we have a large and long track of beaches across the country in the southern end. And in Accra, we've identified beaches like Okurubite Beach, Bojo, Dansoman, Glefe, Mensagini, Independence Square, the Rivera beaches, Nungwa, Teshi, and Sakumono beaches.
Well, President Akufo-Addo, in his Easter message to the nation, served notice of strict enforcement of COVID-19 safety protocols.
We're by no means out of the woods, and so we'll have to endure this year another quiet Easter, devoid of public gatherings and the merry-making that characterize the season. Church services must be held for a maximum of 2 hours. The requisite social distancing rules must be strictly obeyed. Nightclubs, cinemas, and pubs continue to be closed. Funerals, concerts, theatrical performances, and parties are banned. Private burials with no more than 25 people can take place with the enforcement of the social distancing, hygiene, and mask-wearing protocols. Spectators are still banned from going to the stadium to watch football matches. The police service will ensure strict conformity to these restrictions, and anyone found to be flouting them will be dealt with in accordance with law.
Well, that was President Akufo-Addo giving us details of the restrictions still in force. Let's take you live now to my colleague Kweku Asante, who's been monitoring the situation. Kweku, if you can hear me, tell us about the heavy security presence.
Right, so at the Labadi Beach and also at the Ostikan Beach where I've been, there's heavy police personnel at the beach. You could see the heavy police vehicles and the police fully armed to teeth there trying to enforce the president's ban on beaches. And so according to Peter Quatin of the Tema Marine Police, they've been turning away a number of revelers who've been trying to negotiate their way into the beach. You can take a listen.
We have been here since 6 a.m. You can see Marine Police is here, FPU is here, CTU is here, Accra Regional Police Command, some personnel are here, La District Police Command, some personnel are here. Together, we want to ensure that the place is safe. Nobody is allowed in. Since we came here, quite a number of people have been here trying to enter with all sort of explanation that they operate bars and restaurants. So they want to go there. Some even say they want to go and off their lights and other things. But they are aware that no beach activity. So we tell them and then some go. But some keep on explain. But since nobody is there, who are you going to sell to? So we tell them and then they understand.
For how long will you be here?
You know, today is Good Friday. We are here. Tomorrow we'll be here till maybe Tuesday. You know, Easter peak is Monday. Where normal times you come here, churches, group, clubs, people come here and come and make fun, have their club activity and all those things. But since they are aware, ban on beach, we are here to ensure nobody comes to come and have their gathering or whatever.
And you heard the ASP Peter Kwating of the Tema Marine Police speaking there to my colleague Kweku Asante. Kweku, you've been speaking to a manager of one of the beaches. What's he been saying?
Right. According to Abba Nono, the PR at the La Beach Resort, although they are here to support the police and ensure that no one flouts the directives, they are appealing to the president to relax the ban on beaches opening. They say that they have the requisite measures in place, and if the president is take away that ban, they can be able to protect people, and if they come in, so that they can adhere to social distancing.
It's quite obvious you can see the police presence here. The implication is that nobody is allowed to enter the beach. So yeah, that's the situation here. Nobody is allowed to enter the beach. We've got restaurants, bars in there, and they are supposed to operate. But since they are located at the beach, the police are not allowing them to go in there and have access to their premises. So that's the situation here. They are not operating. They've been shackled.
So, in terms of impact, and as managers of this beach, how is this hitting?
Yeah, that also is very obvious. The economic implication, you can think of it. But we are in a very serious situation, and we are appealing to the authorities. Something had to be done about this. The earlier, the better, because we are suffering. We've sat down for more than a year now, and the situation isn't changing. So we are appealing to the authorities to do something.
If you say you want something to be done, what do you want to be done?
Either the authorities speed things up in the provision of the COVID vaccine, or they should do something about packages and everything so that we can operate. We are prepared to adhere to the COVID protocols. You can see, we've already marked if there is a queue, you can see it out there. And the Veronica buckets and sanitizer, we got everything to operate.
Well, my colleague Maxwell Agbagba has also been monitoring the situation on the west side of Accra. He joins me with more. Maxwell, what can you report? Maxwell, if you can hear me, tell us what you see in the western side of Accra. Well, unfortunately, Maxwell Agbagba is not on the line at the moment. Well, immunologist Dr. Yao Bidiakon says the country cannot afford to let its guard down, knowing very well that what happened during the Christmas festivities.
But, Easter is going to be critical. If we behave like we did at Christmas, then I predict that in May, we'll be back where we started. If we behave better and are more sensible, then hopefully we can keep the levels relatively low as we continue to try to vaccinate. And in the meantime, let's continue to adhere to the guidelines, because we've got one shot, we're not fully protected, and many people have not received any vaccination at all. So we have to still adhere to the guidelines just like we were in January.
Well, Dr. Yabidiako is an immunologist with the West African Center for Cell Biology of Infectious Pathogens, WACBIP, at the University of Ghana. The National Commission on Civic Education has also issued a statement this afternoon calling for adherence to COVID-19 protocols. Joseph Akable is with me. Joseph, what does it say?
And so the statement talks about the fact that they want the Ghana Police Service to go all out there to enforce the restrictions, and they're also advising the general public to stick to the safety protocols. They should stay at home if they don't have anything doing, and if they are going out, they should ensure that they have the mask. They also have a message for those who will be traveling, particularly drivers. They are asking that they should exercise restraints and obey the various rules to ensure that they remain safe, knowing very well that around this period we tend to record a number of accidents.
Well, Maxwell Agbagba joins us now on the line. Maxwell, if you can hear me, tell us what's happening on the west side of Accra.
Yes, Fred. The usual traffic that is westbound on the Accra-Kasfa Road around this time because of revelers trooping to beaches dotted along the Kokrobiti coastline is conspicuously missing today. I've seen more policemen patrolling the beaches today. Here at the Bojo Beach, where I am at currently, about 20 armed policemen are here, making sure people do not get access to the beach here. Just some minutes ago, a family was turned away. They were not given access. I'm told the armed personnel here were drawn from the formed police unit. They came all the way from Accra, and they've been stationed here since morning. We're told they'll be here tomorrow, Sunday, and then even on Monday, they will be here. I spoke to one of the officers here. He told me that if I go within the beach itself, there are armed policemen who are there policing that side also. But here at the entrance, about 20 of them are here currently. And as I speak to you now, a gentleman who just pulled up here at the beach has been turned away and is moving to where he came from. Fred.
Many thanks to you, Maxwell Agbagba, for that update from the west side of Accra. Now, 2 hours in traffic on a stretch that normally should take 10 minutes to cross. The gridlock on the motorway interchange barrier stretch continues to present a huge nightmare to many residents along the Accra-Aflao highway. The congestion is blamed in part on the meager of multiple lanes into a single lane. Well, the merger of multiple lanes into a single lane, and cargo trucks often abandoned on sections of the road. Well, a civil engineer, Abdullahi Mahama, has some thoughts on the way out. We'll hear from him in a bit, but first, here are some motorists on how the traffic is affecting them.
The traffic here is too much, so we need a serious help from the authorities. We, the people that fly this road, we are always in trouble.
About 3 days ago, from morning to evening, from morning to up to now, the traffic is very bad. They have to do something about it for us. Can you see the congestion here?
It's so bad. We've been here for the past 1 hour. We are not making any headway.
We cannot hear from civil engineer Abdullahi Mahama. He says a dedicated lane for articulated trucks on the Accra-Aflao highway is a solution to the daily congestion on the Pond Barrier section of the road.
We are talking about an industrial hub. An industrial hub, the government ought to arrange and have an independent road that would deal with like a slip, a lay-by, or a bypass that would handle all the voluminous traffic, especially with all those railways and the trailers. Otherwise, this issue will not be solved by just a signalized intersection.
Well, Municipal Chief Executive for Pon Solomon Apia tells Joy News expansion works on the road have begun to allow free flow of traffic. Well, we understand he's on the line right now. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, great.
Listeners.
Great. So tell us what exactly is being done to minimize the pressure on that road.
Thank you very much. We want the public to know that any interventions we want to put across, there is a directive that it should be part of your budget. So part of my budget to gravel the inner lanes and other places, I have managed to get some of the materials, the grade A gravels, to be able to come into the DPS junction, that is Goodness Oil, and then the Committee 25 junction, and then the Barrier junction, trying to open lanes at this major intersection so that once others are crossing, others can have a bypass to ease the situation. We have to go for approvals before we can do all these supplies. So we have been able to start opening up. And as I'm speaking now, I am myself with the Urban Roads team, all of us here this morning trying to grade the whole heaps of materials on the road to open the free flow of the traffic.
When do you hope to secure this approval so you can finish off this work?
The approval is coming from my internal generated fund, and I have got it. So materials are being supplied to the road now, and we are opening up the road for now. And
we heard from a civil engineer. This aspect is giving his advice on what to be done so we can minimize this pressure. He thinks that we need to have a dedicated lane for articulated trucks. What do you make of this?
Yes, that's one. After the 3-lane expansion of this major road, then we can get those lanes but for the meantime, we are doing only to ease the traffic congestion on the road. So for the meantime, we are trying to open up the road for motorists so that at least the congestion will minimize.
When should residents expect a free flow of traffic?
At the moment, I am trying to do it. I am doing it with consultation with my municipal security council. We all sat and discussed it vividly, and they agree we should open those sections now. So that is what we are doing now. But the road has already been awarded. It is only the contractor is going through formalities to come back and take control over the expansion. So for the meantime, we are working at our side what we can do to ease this congestion.
All right, thank you very much, Municipal Chief Executive for Pon Katamanso, Solomon Apia there. It's time now for Around the Country, and Joseph Akable is here with me. Joseph, let's start from the Central Region.
Yes, there are developments in both Agonas Radio and Apam where some teenagers died recently. And we are told that in terms of security, there's a bit of presence at the beaches to ensure that people don't go there.
Final rituals have been done by traditional authorities at Agonas Radio in search of a lady who drowned in the Accra River. The lady was among persons knocked into the river by a speeding driver. The search has not yielded results as more efforts are being done. The driver in question is facing charges of careless and inconsiderate driving. Also in Apam, police here have tightened security at the beaches following the death of 13 teenagers. The beaches are without activities as the local fishermen themselves have formed task forces to ensure compliance. They say they are not ruling out caning persons who would want to flout the orders. Richard Kwejenyako, Joy News, Apam.
Well, let's head to the Northeast region now, Joseph.
The Northeast Security Council has warned troublemakers after the Nalerigu court jailed 2 rival chiefs in Cherepone. Here's correspondent Ilyasu Tanko.
The accused persons, Nayab Bilembile, a farmer aged 64, and Yakum Boyok, also a farmer aged 75, pleaded guilty to the charges of failing to notify the police of special events contrary to Section 1, Subsection 1, 2, and 3 of the Public Order Act 1994, Act 491. They were accordingly convicted on their own plea and sentenced to a term of 3 months each without hard labor. Prosecutor told the court the accused persons held separate eschealment events without notifying the police, leading to the deadly disturbance in the Jopal community. The court heard that the clash ensued on the 26th of this month after the enscarement of Yakum Buyok by the paramount chief of Cherepone, Femi Kofi Malba. Prior to the enscarement, the chief of Tambong had already enskined second accused Nayam Bilambele as chief of the same community. The judge, after his ruling, observed that the 2 persons were found guilty of a misdemeanor and could have faced a jail term of up to 1 year. Prosecutor had also pleaded with the court to issue a bench warrant for the arrest of the paramount chief of Cherepone and chief of Tambong for their failure to acknowledge sermons to appear before the court to answer similar charges for their roles in enscaling the 2 rival chiefs for the Jopal community. The presiding judge, however, took note of the late service and them and declined to issue the warrant for the arrest, but directed that they must appear in person on the next adjourned date.
Well, let's go to the Bono region now. Shoe dealers, they are worried about poor sales this festive season, Joseph.
Yes, they are mainly stationed at the Sunyani Central Business District and say the COVID-19 restrictions and ban on social gatherings has affected their business.
Over the weekend, we brought listeners some story about an accident at the KNUST campus that's in the Ashanti region. This resulted in the death of some students. What's the update?
A committee has been tasked to assess the risk factors on campus to, among other things, review policies on campus road network. Dr. Norris Bequin is head of KNUST University Relations.
Management decided to meet on Monday. The executive committee team met on Saturday to evaluate the events of Saturday. They decided to put a committee in place to assess all risk factors on campus and to look at the road networks on campus and see what can be done or the safety measures to put in place to stop some of these things from happening.
This is the Midday News coming to you live from our studios here at Kokomlemle on 99.7. Our top story this hour, heavy security presence at some beaches here in Accra as the Ghana Police Service moves to enforce COVID-19 restrictions as part of efforts to contain the spread of the virus. Still to come.
He will lay down his life today.
We'll bring you a song released by one of our reporters, Kwesi Deborah, under the showbiz identity El Tov to mark the Easter celebrations.
He has conquered them all. Life, death, show innocence.
Time now for sports, and Haruna Mubarak is here with that.
Yeah, Fred Smith, let me tell you that the second round of the Ghana Premier League starts today in the game between Great Olympics and Midday Sporting Club at the Accra Sports Stadium. Many are yet to be fully convinced about the performance of referees. However, referees manager of the GFA, Alex Corte, says match officials have been well trained for the rest of the 17 matches.
So we had a course with them, and this time the course that we did was different. If you call any of the referees, they will attest to that. It was more practical work than theory, because we realized that the problem was more on practicals than in the theory. Because if you ask the referee about the laws of the game, they will quote everything. But then when it comes to the practicality on the field of play, that is where the issues were. And so we did more practical work. How do you anticipate where the ball will go next? It is practical. And they all attested to the fact that, yes, they think that for this course, it was better than all the courses that they have had. And so we pray that whatever they have learned in Pram, especially the referees, we're just hoping and praying that they will apply them.
So that's the referees manager of the GFA, Alex Corte. That's your sports, Fred.
Well, thank you very much, Haruna Mubarak, with details from the world of sports. On to some other stories now. A man with his wife and 4 children have been rendered homeless after armed men forcibly evicted them and demolished their home at Boku in the Upper East region. Tanko Akologo, a private businessman, says he barely escaped death with his family after the assailants attacked his home last Sunday. He suspects a private developer with whom he has a dispute over a piece of land was behind the attack. Correspondent Albert Sori has more.
Tanko Akologo is a private businessman based in Boko. He says last Sunday morning, a group of men besieged his home at the Gingande suburb of Boko, wielding hammers, and chased him out together with his wife and 4 children.
A lot of them were holding hammers, some were holding metal bars, some were holding ping axes. And we attempted to do a video, and one of them shouted that they should take our phones from us. So I had to run to the roadside and I stopped it.
According to Tanko, once he managed to escape with his family from the house, the assailants proceeded to destroy his properties and later pull down the walls of the house. He suspects that a private developer with whom he has a land dispute was behind the attack.
I could trace it to a land dispute that has been lingering for some time now, since last year. I secured an injunction, an interlocutory injunction against him, asking him to stop work, and I could continue with my business. to the best of my knowledge, it is the injunction that triggered some form of anger. So they plan with his agents and assigns to be able to come and do this thing to me.
Tanko Akologo says he reported the matter to the police, who assisted him to escape with his family from Boko to Bolgatanga, where they are currently seeking temporary shelter with a friend.
The matter is currently in the hands of the regional police, and they are investigating it to get the perpetrators. But I'm just appealing to government and civil society to wake up to this fight, because a whole family is suffering, because I don't know what practically I have done to deserve my house being demolished and rendering me homeless. I've been rendered jobless already, and I've been fighting the matter in court.
For Joy News, Albert Sorry, Bolgatanga.
Albert Sorry with that report. Well, in the journalistic circle, he's your tech and science reporter. But Love FM's Kwesi Deborah has another passion. As the country marks Good Friday, country music artist Eltov has released a song titled Roll the Stone to eulogize Jesus Christ on the occasion of his death.
Go tell them he isn't here. He's risen from the dead. He has conquered Hades, conquered the grave. Go tell them he isn't here. He's risen from the dead. He has conquered Hades, conquered the grave.
World class, isn't it? Well, Kwesi Deborah has been speaking to Joy News ahead of the launch of that Easter track.
Go tell them he isn't here.
Alright, so today I launched 2 songs, and the first is called Roll the Stone. And that's a mixture of poetry, which is actually a hymn I wrote, and chant. So this song captures the meeting which I believe took place in heaven before an angel was commanded to roll the stone away from Jesus' tomb. So Roll the Stone is an appellation to the resurrected Christ, like the quadrum to the Asante. And so I chose a combination of a poetry or hymnody and a chant to mark the solemnity of that moment. So roll the stone, so capturing the moment. And so we have the video of Roll the Stone out, and we'll be launching it today. We'll be premiering it on TV and also YouTube. And the second song is Conqueror, and this follows up with a conversation between the angel and Mary Magdalene, as captured in the synoptics, and that's the book of Matthew, Mark, and Luke, where it was said that the Mary Magdalene came to visit Jesus to anoint the body, and they came to find an empty tomb. So the voice that you heard there is the voice of the angel, like, go tell them he isn't here. And that's the country music.
Life, death, showing us signs.
And congratulations there to Kwesi Deborah, known in the showbiz world as El Tov. With that track, will be launched today. And that's how we end the news on this Good Friday. Have a blessed holiday, and remember, wear your face mask and observe all the COVID-19 protocols. I'm Fred Smith. Imagine how events around the death and resurrection of Christ would have been captured by the media if it unfolded today. Check out our interesting take on events on our social media handles throughout the day. It's hashtag If Christ Died Today. And before we go, our stories trending on myjoyonline.com. The Rambo-style arrest of David Tamaklo worrying, that's according to lawyer Damfia Mekpo, whole airport to undergo first commercial flights, AstraZeneca and Sputnik V vaccines. And Dr. Bialbidiako has been speaking about that on myjoyonline.com, and these and many other stories if you log on. I'm Fred Smith. Have a blessed holiday.